Shalom Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, all honor, all glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Kakadash, the Barnes Apostles, and else great millstone, for teaching us true peace and blessings to a whole collective Israel and Shalom. Yahweh is the name of the handful in Hebrew by Hashem, means name, and Yahweh Shai is the name of the begotten Son. Back from our lesson, and as you entitled, all roads lead to the M.O.T.B. As you already see, the infrastructure is the foundation that's being laid out in order to usher these things in, especially how they're conditioning and preparing the people for what is to come by the way of these different apps, dealing with Amazon One, where you're able to pay just by the wave of your hand. You also see a few other examples of there in China, pretty much what's coming over here to Babylon the Great. We're able to pay just by the way of your face, so you see the direction that they are heading towards. We're seeing more stores, supermarkets, heading into a digitized direction, especially now that you see the paper dollar pretty much crashing before our very eyes. You see many other nations leaving it behind, and many people are going to look for and seek for a so-called solution, and these devils are going to swoop in as the so-called heroes and dang that solution right in front of your face, to the problems that they ultimately started, in order to bring these things about, to usher in this beast system, this CBDC, the central bank digital currency. But now they're starting to, slowly, gradually bring these things about, especially dealing with this technology, which I have a quick video to go into, where it says, Apple AR glasses, pretty much putting a screen right in front of your face. We're able to browse the web. But you see another example dealing with, I think, Google glasses. If you, I think that was similar to this right here. Pretty much, a hologram right in front of your face. To where you don't need a laptop, a computer, to do what you desire pretty much in the public. So a lot of people see the benefits of that, hop right along board with it. And especially to look for a more advanced version of it, which is going to be, that C-hip. As you already see, the so-called miracles they're going to be performing on the left-hand side through the technology. A lot of people are going to be enticed by these things. You had an article come out a while back to where, if you got the Neuralink, you'd be able to listen to music within your brain. So there's no need for headphones and all these different things. So a lot of people are going to hop on the wave, man, and wanting to be tempted and deceived into taking it. And this is, once again, you see in the title, all roads lead to the M.O.T.B. This is a stepping stone to go that direction, to slowly usher these things in and get the people used to it, Now, play this video real quick, as well as dive into another article, pretty much going to everything bad that's happening in America, especially dealing with the paper dollar collapsing, and people are going to, fiend and look for a so-called solution in order for things to go back to so-called normal, for things to so-called stabilize, look for a so-called bigger and better thing, which is going to be, this digitized system that the devils are going to slowly, gradually bring about, as you see now already. So, play this real quick. It's like if I'm, kind of rambling, or I want to say stalling it, but play this quick video right here, and we'll dive into the article and a few scripts that came to mind. Lord, be a fan lesson.
Apple is releasing augmented reality glasses next month, and here's 5 reasons why it's going to change the world just like the iPhone did. Number 1, interactive learning. Students will be able to interact with digital models of complex subjects like anatomy and geography, making learning more engaging and accessible. Number 2, virtual shopping. Imagine being able to shop online. Look in the mirror and virtually try on clothes. You'll be able to see what they look like on you before you buy it. Number 3, virtual navigation. You'll basically have Google Maps in your sunglasses with precise navigation. Number 4, virtual advertisements. Just imagine walking around and having advertisements displayed in your face. Sounds amazing. It's gonna happen. Number 4, interior design. You'll be able to see if a couch will actually fit in your living room, or maybe you want to get a visualization of what your rearrangement idea will look like. Which one are you looking forward to, or maybe not looking forward to? Let us know in the comments. Apple is...
And as you already see the build-up, and once a lot of people are going to be deceived and tempted into hopping on board with this, and a lot of people are going to look for a so-called more permanent, more advanced version of this, and see how cool this is, to where they're not wanting to have laptops or carry their phones, as well as dealing with buying things. People are going to see no need to take or to carry their purse or their credit card, their wallets anymore, because it's all going to be within that C-hip. Especially with all the things they're going to be able to do with it. As I mentioned in that article, we're able to listen to music in your brain. You're able to see a screen right in front of you without having a literal screen. So a lot of people are going to be deceived and tempted into taking these things, as you are seeing the infrastructure foundations being laid out right in front of you. To slowly get people used to it. So when these things come about, you're not, surprised. You're not shocked by it. But we are warning you to spend pretty Shai to stay away from it. But it says U.S. to suffer, which I saw your brother posted on his community page. I think it was a GMS Awakening. It was that brother. But it's U.S. to suffer devastating hyperinflation, war, starvation as BRICS dumps dollar. Robert Kiyosaki. So you have a lot of these nations that are starting to, drop, the dollar, leaving it behind. And you have a lot of people looking for a solution, in order to solve these problems, which ultimately these devils started. So they're able to usher these things in, without a fight. To where there is a so-called heroes, to where you have to go through them, as you already see, dealing with Fed now, which is pretty much going to replace your PayPal, your Cash App, Come on. Rich Dad Poor, which I made a lesson a while back going into, which we can look up Fed now real quick, just if you don't know already. But it's pretty much going to replace, Cash App and all that, to where you can make your payments, with this and all that. And you also had recently, I think it was Cash App, I think the CEO, if not one of the high-ranking people that pretty much deals with Cash App, died. And I don't think that's a coincidence, because there's no such thing as coincidences. Now you have these devils pretty much implementing their own version, to where you have to go to them. I said, will FedNow replace PayPal? So does FedNow replace money apps like Venmo and Cash App? The Fed has made clear that FedNow is not intended to kill or replace other money transfer options like Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal, or Zelle, which is going to. So you see the direction that they are ultimately heading towards. Have more control, because once you take that CHIP, they'll know your exact location. They'll know everything about you. Everything about you will be on that CHIP, man. Now, let's see what the bottom is saying. In a new video, the Rich Dad channel, Kiyosaki tells his 3.1 million subscribers that the U.S. is now at risk of suffering hyperinflation, war, and starvation as other major economic powers come together to defy the supremacy of the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency. So America is crumbling, man. As already had recently, it was a month or two ago, you had the banks collapsing. Over there in Vegas. In fact, the exact bank, but you saw a few of them pretty much go under. People couldn't pull out their cash. People were losing money. So you're seeing a lot of people are dropping the dollar, and once again are going to look for a solution when these things start to get even worse. For something bigger and better, which is going to be that CHIP, which everything's going to be mainly ran through. That CHIP. As keeps going to Revelation 13:16. Which I don't know what this is right here. To where you won't be able to buy and sell without it. And that's how they're going to force a lot of people's hands and push them to a corner. Especially if you want to pay those bills or whatever the case may be. As you see with FedNow, pretty much forcing you to go through them. You need to take that CHIP if you want to do so. So you see how they're going to push a lot of people to a corner, man. Especially a lot of people seeing these so-called benefits, how much easier, more secure it is, But guess what? It's going to come at a price. Revelation 13:16-17. And he called to all small, great, rich, and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And that no man might buy or sell, if he that the mark of the name of the beast or the number of his name. So let's go back up top. That's to receive a mark in the right hand or in the foreheads. There with the mark in the forehead, you see Elon Musk creating the Neuralink. And you also see other companies, trying to create, similar, technology as that of, Neuralink. Dealing with the charagma, the CHIP in the forehead. I believe they're wanting to begin human trial testing for a while now, if not already. As you see all the tests they've done on pigs, monkeys, and all that. And also how bad that turned out for, the monkeys. They did tons of trials, and you saw tons of monkeys end up dying from it. And you could really just imagine the sick and twisted things that Esau Edom did, to see what could control the monkey, what can kill it the fastest, whatever the case may be. We're speaking of Esau Edom here, man. Now, verse 17, that no man might buy or sell, if he that the mark of the name of the beast or the number of his reigns, speaking too fast to lock it, or the number of his name. So very soon you won't be able to buy nor sell without it. So you won't be able to go to your job, you won't be able to travel, you won't be able to live a so-called normal life without it. So this is where our faith will also be tried and where we will be tested. Of course, it's not going to be easy, but have full faith and trust in Yahweh Shema Shai. Trust in the Lord, man. It's basically one of my lessons I was going into. Have faith in the Lord, and He will take care of us. But let's continue on. As Revelations 2 and 10, you also see the persecution that will come from denying these things, as you already saw back then with the lockdowns and the harsh restrictions and mandates that they had, especially dealing with the Jews. And there's an article or a Twitter post that came out of a football player saying, people that didn't take the Jews should be thrown into jail, and look what happened to him. He got taken out, So you're also going to see just the aggressiveness and just that, heavy, spirit that's going to be pushed, man, to where we're going to be looked upon as the so-called bad guys or crazy for not bowing down and taking these things, I mean, as I mentioned, dealing with that football player, he want people to be thrown into jail if they didn't, abide by these restrictions, wear the mask or, take the juice, So people were crazy. You're so selfish. You don't care about people's health, this and that. Persecution's coming. Revelation 2 and 10. Now it says, fear none of the things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast you into prison, that ye may be tried, and shall have tribulation 10 days. Going to a certain period of time. Now it says, and you shall have tribulation 10 days, be thou faithful unto death, and I'll give thee a crown of life. So if we continue to endure and remain faithful even unto death, there is a reward and a prize waiting for us, man. Because you are going to have many brothers that's going to be thrown into these, prisons, these jails, even these FEMA camps, which I recently went into, as well as many other brothers have touched on. Seeing these Walmarts are now being shut down and what they're mainly going to be used for now. Now, some FEMA scriptures, not being a long lesson, unless it's that it's long already. Usually when I say I don't make a long lesson, it goes on nearly 30 minutes. But either way, low one's points can push across. Now, the Revelation 3 and 10. Because I was kept with my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world, to try them to dwell upon the earth. Whereas our temptation is going to be, when that sea hip is presented in front of us. So showing you everyone's going to be tried, and we're going to be tested, man. And you will have many of our people that's within this truth that's going to bend the knee and crack under that pressure that's going to be applied. Because once again, you won't be able to live a so-called normal life. Especially with all the harsh restrictions and mandates that they're going to implement, to where you won't be able to pretty much do anything, As you know, many brothers have families to take care of. They have young ones. They have a woman, and you could see how they would, kind of urge the man to go out and take it to feed them, whatever the case may be, especially the woman, But we're seeing right here, because kept with my patience, I'll also keep thee from the hour of temptation. Yahweh Shem Shai can give us the strength and the spirit to endure and to deny these things, which shall come upon all the world to drive them that dwell upon the earth. And which, as I mentioned near the beginning of the lesson, you already see the foundation, the infrastructure being laid out before your very eyes, and pretty much all ready to be implemented, man. You already have many people that's taking it. As you see, there's this one girl on TikTok, I think called Chip Girl, where she, pretty much uses it for everything, to open her home door, to run her car, and many other things. As well as you're seeing more supermarkets, more stores, moving toward a more digitized system. There's one video I saw to where they were locking up doors to where you needed to, pay to open them. And I think it had like a little scanner next to the door, So you see the direction that they are ultimately heading toward once again. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 9. It's like if I sound like a broken record, but Lord, I'm getting the point across. Now, so even him who's coming after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders. You're going to have these devils performing these miracles on the left-hand side through the technology. And that's why you're going to have many people that's going to be deceived into hopping on board with these things. Because you're going to have people that's paralyzed, people that are blind, are going to be able to see and walk again. So you're going to have many people, opting towards that route. Especially with all these, low percentage chance of surgeries and it working out. A lot of people are going to see that and hop on board along with it, especially just seeing the benefits of it, to where you're able to listen to music in your brain. You're able to use a GPS without having your phone or whatever the case may be. These are the type of things these devils are going to do, and how a lot of people are going to be, tempted by. But we were warning you through the Spirit and prayer, Yahweh Shem Shai, to not take these things. Why? I went to that video right there, going to these Apple AR glasses. That's just a example of what these devils are going to do, Especially a lot of people are looking for a more permanent version of it. As it shall rise false anointed and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders. And so much that if it were possible, they should deceive the very elect. But it's not possible to deceive Yahweh Shemashai's elect. But read the middle part one time. And false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, and so much that if it were possible, they should deceive the very elect. So you're going to have these devils perform these miracles on the left-hand side, as it is mentioned a few times already. You get the point. Now, let's get 2 Corinthians 11 as well as get Psalms now. It says, "Let Satan should get avenged us, for we are not ignorant of his devices." We see what this devil's playing at as you see many stores are, moving a more digitized route, moving that direction. As I mentioned, you already have also dealing with schools. They have lockers to where you need to have, or you're able to open it with your school ID. So when you see the direction, how they're slowly conditioning and preparing people for this beast system. By the way, different apps on your phone, Apple Pay, Amazon One, paying with the wave of your hand, all these different things. So a lot of people see the benefits of this. There's the other one app. I forget the exact app it was, but pretty much you get a fast pass, as you already see over there in Disney World. You get a fast pass. You pretty much skip the line. There's one guy that pretty much paid on his phone. I forget exactly what he did, but it was like an app where you can pretty much get what you want and go to the store, pick up what you need, and walk right out. Psalm 65:20, which I made a lesson, I think a few months back going to that. I forget the exact app it was, but pretty much you'll be able to skip the lines and get what you need and go. So a lot of people see the how quick and easy it is. Psalm 55:21 now says, "The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but the war was in his heart. His words were soft and oil, yet with a drawn swords." That scripture also mentioned in Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter, going to how this devil is not to be trusted. Never trust an enemy, for like the iron rusted, so is his wickedness. So you're gonna have this devil, butter you up and make him seem, he may seem like he's brotherly or may seem well, but in reality he's seeking to do mischief against you. Especially dealing with these things that he's implementing, doing these different apps, Apple AR glasses, Google glasses, whatever the case may be. He is slowly getting you used to these. He's slowly conditioning you in order to bring these things about. If you have the eyes to see now, pretty much the main point of this lesson already. I don't want to drag it out. Pretty much the main point. But as you see, all roads lead to the M.O.T.B. Make a quick lesson, go into that quick video, as well as you see the paper dollar collapsing, which he does and use the excuse in order to bring in a so-called bigger and better thing, which is going to be that C-HIP, the CBD system, this reset that they want to push out. But once in the Lord saw the main point, and you were edified throughout the lesson, I do want to give all praises, all and glory to Yahweh Shemashai, Bashem Kakadash, to the apostles, and else great millstone for teaching this truth. Peace and blessings to all collective Israel, and shalom, saints, and love one.